hey, Patreon, it's Mouth with the Structures, and I promise I'm gonna get all that spider anger out of my system eventually. But I know I didn't watch anybody else's video before I made ours because I didn't want it to influence what I had to say. So after I did mine, I then went back and watched other people's, and I kind of got pissed off a little bit more. So I'm trying very hard, but sometimes this is hardwired to this, and I catch it coming out, and I have to like stop it and like, you know, before I really lose my crap. If you didn't notice, like on the snake that I said, you know, if your snake hasn't eaten in a year, you got a problem, and your problem's probably in your husbandry. That doesn't mean that it's bad if you've encountered that, but what's bad is if you've encountered that and you just go, fuck it, it's fine. No, it's not fine. You should be trying to fix that. Like, there's a problem, you know? If it's not in your husbandry, then the thing probably has a tumor in it and it's dying. Like, that is not normal. Anyway, that's a whole nother option. It's just like, how can on one hand that be okay? On the other hand, people are taking your advice when it comes to a gene. Like, I don't call people out by name. I don't. And it's been a very hard test on this one. Part of it is, I mean, we all know here who I'm kind of speaking about. And I respect what the guy's doing. I mean, truthfully, I do. Like, I hope he keeps up with it. But I don't think going and calling out people and doing that when... I just don't think that was the wisest move. That's just me. Plus, I think he's wrong. There's that. So anyway, enough is enough on that. I will get that worked out of my system. It will take a few weeks because every time I get a chance to take a jab for a while, I probably will, because the evidence is in the animals, and I've shown that for a long time. All right, but on to today's topic, which is axanthic, right? And axanthic from the business standpoint. So let's talk about that one. You know, in the last few animals I've shown you, we did pastel, we did lesser, and we did spider, and we didn't really give like letter grades, you know. But pastel was kind of like, yeah, it's great, it'll help you sell stuff, but it ain't gonna bring in a lot of money to your business. Lesser was like, you need that shit because of the bells and what it can do, and again, it's not gonna sell for a lot of money, but you kind of need that in your business. Spider was, the word was risky, because, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen in that market. I think it may hurt for a while, come back. If too many people bail, it'll actually probably drive prices up. It may drive them down. It's kind of this weird unknown with spider all the time. I don't think it's going to change much, but not changing much again means, like pastel, it's about a $75 and a $90 snake, so not going to bring a lot of money into your business. The only difference is with pastel's never going to prevent you from selling an animal. With spider, it may prevent you from making some sales. It may make some others for you, so it's a little bit different. But axanthic, now we're cooking with gas, because let me tell you something. When you hatch out baby axanthics, man, they're smoking. And because they're recessive, not a lot of people want to work with the recessives, because it takes some patience. Like, you gotta dedicate to it, you know? You gotta dedicate to actually making recessive combos. Like, it's not as easy as the rest of the stuff out there, or it's not as inexpensive to get into as the rest of the stuff out there. The cool thing, though, is that market is much more protected because it's hard, because there's less supply, and they're going to be in demand, then you're going to get more for it. So, when it comes to our axanthic, I mean, you guys have seen our price. We didn't actually hatch any standard axanthics this year. I did ship out several pastel axanthics. I don't remember what we did on them. I mean, I just kind of looked what the price we're doing and kind of base it off that. But, obviously, if you compare a 2-gene snake like a bumblebee versus a 2-gene snake like an axanthic, it's a world of difference, right? What it can bring into your business. Then you start getting to things like zebra bees, and I've seen zebra bees all over the map. I've seen them last week as low as like maybe even 350 or 400. But I also looked at some of those and said, because axanthic is one gene that I will tell you the quality matters. Like, it matters. There are some really, really shitty examples of axanthic. And it is a gene that is, I think all genes are affected by how you breed them and who you choose to pair to them. Not just this plus this equals this. That's doing the breeding a disservice. It's, you know, we've talked about why are our bumblebees bright? Well, because we picked certain things to make them that way. Why are our pieds so orange? Well, because we picked the right adults to make them that way. It wasn't just any 2 pieds will do. And I think nothing shows up more than that than with axanthic. So you really want to get your axanthic from a very known source, or you want to see it in person. It's pretty risky buying online. I'll admit I did it once. Shit, I forgot to show this guy, so I'll just show him to you. I got so much axanthic in here, I forget what I have sometimes. I ended up with this guy, and I got it on an auction, and you know, I didn't know what I was going to get, and they did screw it up, because what happened was they had a whole lot of them, and it was from a larger breeder, and I bought one, and I jumped up and down. So they're like selling, you know, any of these for this price, and they had them cheaper than they probably should have. And I picked one up, and I was like, I want the brightest one you have, the absolute brightest one you have, you know. And they were like, yeah, sure, you were the first one. We'll send you the brightest one we have. Cool. And I bought a female, and this has 2 penises, so it's a boy, and it's actually made babies. It's a boy, but again, I couldn't be happier with the quality of that animal. Now, this is not the father to my pastel axanthics, and you can see she's actually brighter because we keep the best back for ourselves, right? So she's even a better example of it. This is coming from Tall Grass's line and JD Constriction's line that I produced myself from their adults. But this animal here, again paired to a JD Constriction animal, who's one of the best when it comes to SK, is what produced this little guy here, who, if he wasn't in shed, would blow your ass away. You guys have seen him before. He's amazing. So, starting with high quality stock here is so important. Are you going to pay more for some good quality stock? Yep, you are. And you know what? It's worth every frickin' penny. I'll tell you that right now. Don't cheap out on your axanthic. Don't just, you know, I did once and I got lucky, and I knew I was doing it. And I thought, well, you know, as long as it's of a certain quality, which this one is, because I know what I'm mixing it to, I know how high quality my other stuff is, I'll be okay. And we are, but it's very important to plan your axanthic path out, and it's very important to have that high quality. Otherwise, you know, you'll have a zebra bee if you just start some crap, but it ain't gonna look like Zeus. Now, if you pick it by hand and you do it right, you'll have a zebra bee like Zeus, or better, you know. And I'll throw him back up here for the 3rd time. He's gonna like bite the shit out of me here as soon as I fuck you, quit doing this. You've been filming me every day. And what I mean is, again, they're really light silver, they're really nice whites, you know, great head stamp, and the completely reduced pattern. This was exactly what he was born black and white. I knew he would get those colors as he aged. He did, and we're gonna work towards solid black and white. But to get here, have a plan, right? Have a plan to get to the black and white. And your plan will evolve with time. Man, I know ours did. But it's so important to plan it out. So, like, for example, Firefly Axanthics. When those first came out, and again, JD Constriction was the first one to hit them, I was like, damn, I need that shit. And I don't remember what they were. They were, like, expensive as all get out. You know, I'm like, I ain't buying that. But I'm like, man, I'm going to make some. I'm going to make some of those, too. So then you start thinking, well, how do I want to do it? And you start picking your pairings to make that happen. So I use my, you know, pastel axanthic, I use my pastel axanthic on that one, and I stuck him to my fire yellow belly. And I got those 2 girls I wanted. So there I know they're het axanthic 100%. I know what that pastel axanthic is capable of, right? And now I know if I bring my super pastel axanthic over here, I could bring Zeus to one of them, right? I could bring Zeus to the one that already has the pastel, but I'll definitely bring the pastel, super pastel axanthic to my fire yellow belly. Why? Because half the babies will be axanthic, right? Because it's a het to a visual. All the babies will be pastel because I'm using a super pastel. So then I have like basically, let's see, it'd be a 1 in 4 chance of hitting a Firefly axanthic. 1 in 8 chance of a Firefly yellow belly axanthic. So you've got to really, and I also know the quality I'm going to have. So I'm super happy with my super pastel axanthic, and I'm really happy with how that Firefly or fire yellow belly came out and the pastel yellow. So I know I can make a really nice Firefly axanthic when the time comes. So it's all about picking your pairings and picking them well. So that's kind of how it works, and plot that out, because you'll spend a lot of money in recessives if you just go buy a bunch and it takes a while to recoup. the other thing I always tell people, if you want to get started, let's say you say, hey, you know what? I like what you say about axanthic. I want to get started in axanthic. When you go buy your hets, very important to buy from a reputable source. If you want to get started on I'd say a discount, hets are where it's at. You don't pay much more for a het. So what I would do is I'd get 3 animals, at least, that are het for axanthic, all on the same line, very important. I recommend SK, it's what I work with, but there's nice examples of all. And I just like SK, because it's what I have. There's really no other reason than that. But if you do it, so let's say you went with a super pastel het axanthic, a fire yellow belly het axanthic. I'm just naming shit that I kind of have. And let's say you went with a calico spider het axanthic, female. Then over here, I'd buy my male, who is a visual axanthic. And he would also have probably a kicker gene in it or 2 if I wanted. Of course, you have the spider, avoid the spider, so no zebra bees, right? Then maybe go with a pastel axanthic or a fire axanthic or something like that. And that male, to those 3, you're going to get half of your babies being visual axanthic, and you're also going to get into that at a discount because of the hets. And anything that's not visual, because you used a visual male, will come out het axanthic. So you can probably get in that project for, I don't know, around $1,000 to $1,400 for all 4 of those. And you will see that money return into your business the first year you breed if they all 3 go. Hell, if 2 of them go. Even after your holdbacks, you're probably going to see that money come back into your business. So I think axanthic is great to have in your business. You know, right now, people pushing recessive would probably tell you, clown's a hot thing. Go clown, go clown. I'm going to tell you not so much. Clown is the hot thing, but if you're buying babies, by the time you're producing clowns, ain't gonna be the hot shit. There'll be something new out, right? Now, will clown hold its value pretty decent? Yep, all those will. I mean, even look at albinos. We're still doing most of our female albinos for $200. Why are we doing that? Well, again, you pick your parents recessive and you do it right, and you get albinos that look like this as adults, and not albinos that look like shit. And when you do that, you can ask a little more for them because quality matters. And yes, I have seen albinos that as adults look like shit. But anyway, I'll put that back. Kurt, anything you want to add?
No.
Are you sure?
Yep.
All right, let me know, Patreon. Have I gone overboard on the spider thing? Should I just let that go? Or should I keep mentioning it to the good? I mean, even if you don't love spider, I think most people here, whether they choose to have it or not, and again, that's a free decision, and I support either way. At least understand that it's a personal choice. It's not like they want, everybody else to tell them what they can or can't do. We all have bosses, and none of us like having bosses, so why the hell would I want more? Just my thought. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.